استنى خلص السماعة
الميكروفون الناس تنتظر. تفضل.
مطفي ما بتقدر ترجع مرة تانية. طفاه هو. طف. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. And welcome all of you and welcome you again wherever you are with this night of the night of Eid in your program Fatwa Online or Fatwa on Air. We ask Allah with all His names and attributes and His mercy that covers everything, that He concluded the month of Ramadan with His satisfaction and to be freedom from His hellfire, and to take us to the good of deeds, inshallah, in our short live in this life. Tonight we have a question. The questioner is asking, what is the rule of Sharia in protection of the egg, the woman's egg? Sometimes in the to do the terpilocation, which is the to have more sperms and more eggs that they try to have the embryos from. You can freeze it in the time of the life of the husband, but then if he died, then there is no relationship between him and her, so she cannot leave anything of that after his death. And this is like for some really for major precaution, but there is no need to have mix and to go into the something that is forbidden. And the experts in that field, they can put a lot of warning to put guards to protect the confusion, the mixing of these eggs or the embryos. And this comes from the experts of the doctors or the scholars at the same time. They both agree on to taking the utmost precautions. So after the husband died, there is no need to have that egg preserved anymore. Another question here, the guy is asking, or the question is, I'm in India. We fasted with the Arabic countries on Friday. Then we were saddened that the first day of Ramadan that the people in India did not fast, and Eid was declared on Sunday, and India is next Monday. If we fasted with them, we have 31 days. So do we have the or with the Arabic countries? He started he fasted a different day, so he's going to have an extra day because he's with the Arabic country. If he fasted with, then he have fasted 31 with the solution. We never heard that Ramadan is 31, either 29 or 30. The answer for this, that this matter is under research in the scholars. In Shafi'i madhab, in Shafi'i, he have to fast even if they are more, because when he moved to their country, he became one of them. So he needs to stay with them, because the fast is when the people fast, and the fitr is when people break their fast, and the adha when people make the adha. And the Shafi'i madhab, if we did not require that far away, and he went from the calculated from the witnesses, then he need to even if he contented 30, because when he moved to their country, again the same reason that he became one of them. And it says that Ibn Abbas, he ordered Qurayban with that. The other verdict that, he breaks his fast, but he make it secret, don't declare it on people, so he will not be different from Shaykh Nathi. He fasts with the one that he's with, if he increase one more day. He says if he fasted with the witness of one and another country that started the day after, and they continue 30 days and did not see the crescent, and he answers that he fasts with them, even if he fasted 31 days. And maybe with that is taken from if he went to the other way around. If I came from east, I came here at in the morning. There's 10 hours for me. The country I'm with, they already broke their fast. No, you are with the country you're in. And he said maybe that is taken. What if he moved to another country, that the sunset is changed? He will break his fast with that sunset that he goes to. And he said, and maybe it will be measured, because the day might be increased. And from his accuracy, he said maybe if it's measured, if the other one, then he will break his fast according to that area. And he had another fatwa. If he went to another one country, Muslim country, another, and he stayed with them until they break their fast, because this fasting is when people fast, and the fitr is when they break their fast, and the adha is when people make their adha. And even if he added one more day, and the same thing if you went to another country where the sunset is extended by 3, 4, 5 hours, he break his fast in the place he's in when there is the sunset. And the Prophet ﷺ that we should not not to fast or break our fast except for the witnessing of the crescent. The second thing that is very common, what does the questionnaire ask? The return from the cash return. How do you use it for the zakah money? Do we make a zakah for it by itself? Or you take it to the principal and you add them together? And to what year do you add it? Is it for this year or the next year? And it's really common for everybody. The answer, the cash return, it has a connection to the money that you make zakah. Because it was taken from and is really connected to it. You did not own it or hold it because it was separated because from the other money. That's why it's the year is from the origin of it. So it's added to the original money he has. But then a question, to which howl does it go? The answer is the one that it came back to him. If it came before the it depends on what time. If it is for this one, then you do it. If it is after it's finished, then you add it to the next year. I hope it's clear. If there is any problem, let me know. We'll take another question. What is the reward for the woman spending money on her husband and her kids? The husband is the one who's required to do that, but if the condition is very hard for him and the wife wanted to spend the money, or he's dead and she wants to spend money on her kids, Allah said, give them where you live and take what you want from you and your son in goodness. So the expenditure is on the behalf, on the responsibility of the husband. Sometimes the father is rebellious and he is not following Allah Azza wa Jal and against all the norms, and he refused to spend on his kids, and he leaves his wife get indulge with that. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give them the reward of the patient. And may Allah reward her for just doing that when she's doing the natural feeling. What Allah is advising you with your kids, that the natural fatherly of giving for your kids. And the Sheikh is talking about what if the father killed his son? But I mean, he's the one who is willing to give his life for their comfort. So anyway, we go back to the question. I hope that Allah will reward you for whatever you spend on your kids, and not to prevent you from the reward of the patient. If your husband did not fulfill his duties as a husband to spend his money on the household, and may Allah bring him back to his righteousness and to put harmony in your life. A question here. How do you the payments for the house and the zakah? The question, it's very smart question. We have mentioned several times that the loans that's long term, you only use the current payment, meaning you do not buy the house with a payment, with a loan, 300,000. Every time you have to pay for the whole 300,000. No. So, or to say I have a loan and I can't be paying zakah at all. No. The loans of last year is gone. This is from the expenditure, the rent, the payment. So you take it from your own place. So the end of the month and the next year is a different calculation. Your zakah in Ramadan, the part of Ramadan, this is for this month. This is the next payment, you put it on the next year, because these are, and you have income also that's variable. What about who declare that Saturday is Eid? First, I have one day for Ramadan. Can I fast that day and fast tomorrow for the Saturday or no? Either way, we have this question. We ask Allah's help first. And I want people to understand the meaning or the intention of the question. I fasted today as Saturday. Yes, there is a group of people who fasted Saturday. With the sea, they saw in Somalia and other places. Do I fast a day in Ramadan? You have you followed the fatwa, and don't put doubt on the religion is not right. What declared one of the best people in the United States. His ijtihad, that's this citing. There's no doubt about it. And since he goes with the oneness of the citing, so he fasted, and those who followed him is considered okay. And those who made iftar because of the fatwa is also accepted. You don't need to redo it. To jump into the ijtihad of people and notify or nullify the deed because the assumption that the good effort that they did to come up with this verdict is accepted. So you don't have to make qada, nor don't get even confused with this. The other that this there's doubt about it, and they mentioned four things. We're not gonna talk about these doubtful things, so we will not go to put down the other effort. But the majority they have doubts about it, and that's why they declared that today is to fulfill Ramadan. And who followed them, he have a correct one. And I hope with these kind of issues, whoever see one of the thing, you just follow it and don't deny on the other's effort. If you took it this simplicity and this simple, that easy, that will not lead to any problems. We don't have a prophet that you take from him and you don't bring back. But we have the Quran, the Sunnah, and understanding of the previous, and we have our own effort of the saying of the scholars before and the scholars of Quran. So I tell you, you are done right, and you don't have to redo it. Amen. The اغتسال for Eid, when it starts after Maghrib or before Fajr, of course, the closer you get to the Eid prayer, that will be better. Or Fajr, it will be closer, inshallah. I have a question here. The questioner is asking in English, the Ayat al-Kursi, and after each, do you say it after Farida or after Sunnah? Some people, they pray the Farida and they immediately pray the Sunnah, and then he conclude. So what is the right thing to finish the prayer and make the adhkar, and then, or after I finish Sunnah? It's the hadith is right after the obligatory prayers. The Prophet ﷺ, if he leave from his prayers, he ask Allah astaghfirullah 3 times, and then he say, Allah, you're the peace, from you is the peace, blessed are you the Almighty. And Ka'b ibn Ajrah, he said, the Prophet ﷺ said, words that will not hurt any of those whomever say them. 33 say Subhanallah, 33 Alhamdulillah, and 34 Allahu Akbar. And Al-Albani said in this hadith, he says, meaning it is the things you say after the prayer. And this hadith is right after the Farida. And whomever said from the school of thought to make it if someone didn't do that, if a man didn't make that dhikr immediately after the obligatory prayer, either he forgot or got busy, if he did before the separation is too long, he get full reward. If it is too long, he get the reward or he missed part of the completion of it. Ibn Hamd said, does not you don't lose the reward of the dhikr because of the long separation or the sunnah. Still, you don't lose that. The one that's missing is it looks like that they wanted to say the dhikr when he's sitting. And if he get busy, he get the reward for it. But if he intentionally left it, didn't do the dhikr, and for a long time, he lose that special reward, but get the reward of dhikr. Subhanallah, you can see the organization of the scholars. A man, he has some money invested, he lives from its income, and he has a loan. Does he pay the zakah, or the debt is more than the zakah? Well, it does not work this way. If he has debt, not a long one like the one that's for 34 years, no. But if you have $10,000 and I'm in the I have 12, so I'm in the negative. There is no zakah in that condition. And the saving, you have to take it to take care of your debt or your loan. It's very the loan is always bad on the soul, and it's very concerned in the daytime. Because the zakah is from your pure money, unless they take from their money. So if you have 10,000, I am the one for it. I don't own it. The difference between the two, I might have the money, but I don't own it. The money that is stolen and exported, the people, they still own also of it, but it's not in their possession. Some of the people, they will have the money, but he's not owning it. And some will be the other way around. You have the complete ownership. The debt, we emphasize so many times. The loan is two types. One that you think that's going to come back. You are the one, you have loans on people. Yes, if it is going to be coming back. When is it supposed to be done on someone and is capable? If on someone who can't, you don't have to use his zakah.
والشيخ ابن عثيمين رحمه الله يقول يزكيه عن سنة واحدة ولا ضر عشر المدين سنوات لا
one of the scholars said you make the zakah only one time. When do you start the program for Eid? From the sun of the hilal until the Eid prayer. You keep takbirat. We make takbir after Maghrib. We do takbir after Isha. In your house, in your on your way to the masjid. So you sit down, and we said, if Eid is in the khala, there is no sunnat in masjid. But if it is in the masjid, so don't sit down until you pray 2 rak'ahs. Even if he comes in the time that it is not recommended. If you go, I've come to the masjid after Asr, but because you went on Al-Kaaba, this is a sunnah that has a reason. Another thing, the egg for, this is a continuation of the first question about the duplication. To keep the egg or freezer, Salam Alaikum, that it is for this single woman. She's getting old, and can we put the egg until she find a husband? I don't know. I need to research this. In the nafila, do we make sujood? Yes. It's for any prayer that you don't pay attention, whether it's obligation or not. The takbirat is very big, and we have said one, which is Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, La alhamd. That's one form. Whatever. There is so many words, and there is so many flexibility there. And this is the most accepted or authenticated one. That's what's more common. To have rihan on, what are we talking about? You have to clarify what is the form of it. The ifta, it depends on the knowing about the issue. You have to tell me, what do you mean with rahan? You mean the mortgage to buy the houses? That's it is very easy. That the riba financing is no. That cannot be accepted except on necessities or close to it. And we have Islamic institutions. It's easier to make with it, inshallah. It is more satisfying to Allah and to do with the other ones. They always say the mortgage because that loan is connected to this state that's going to pay it off. That house is guaranteed the bank money. That bank will sell that loan to some bigger, so he takes another mortgage, and that one he make it and he will make it.
الذي إذا كنت
I'm not sure what sukuk is, and then he pays it. يتم Freddie Mac money. It is no matter what money they have to sell it so they could get the money so they could refund us again.
مضمونة في نفس البيت. البنك
I don't know if he's talking about bonds, but anyway, the bank is making insurance on these on this money. You want to make sure. So the insurance company take they make another insurance that bigger. This house became between the several banks and several types of, and it's like an apple that sold 50 times.
يبقى يعني هو اقتصاديات الفقاعة.
This is the bubble.
لما تكتشف في أي حتة منها كلها بس.
Everything gonna collapse. I said يمحق الله الربا. You are living in a illusion. We in our religion, everybody spend from wherever he can. Let him spend from what Allah give him. Allah does not put you, overburden you, burden you. The best if you don't overspend and you are in between. Don't take loan except from and have the intention to pay back. Whomever took money and he wants to take it back, Allah will help him. Even if he done before, Allah will pay in His and Day of Judgment. Allah will make them accept that loan. So whenever you take a loan and you want to pay it back, then Allah will help you. But if you want to ruin people's money, Allah will ruin your money. And let everybody spend from whatever Allah gives you. But the temptation, change the house, change the car. I don't have. But no, that card is what tempts you to pay more and take more loans, and you find yourself in that circle just to pay those. And then we have virus, and you fill, and then everything will fall on you. So be careful. Let everybody spend from wherever he's capable. Allah will make after hardship ease. What the Sheikh says about you can open the masjids and ma'abad. This is I find you smiling, so for each question there is an answer. They always say there is no full question, but in the answer everybody can ask whatever he wants, but the success or the failing in the answer. No doubt, my brother, that we are happy of any opening where we can worship that we wanted to go back to. Who could believe that a masjid that hundreds used to come to it in Ramadan, only 1 or 2 rows, even the poles are crying, and the same thing on the trumpet. So we're happy. There is an ease for opening of the masjid. Of course, within the health issues that we always talk about. So we are happy to hear that. But don't forget, the medical things. The politicians, they have only economical calculations, and the doctors, they have different calculations. The doctors want to preserve the human life. The politicians want to establish the economic life. We want to balance in between the opening our masjids, also the health issue, and not to confront the political arena.
ذلك ومن يعظم شعائر الله فإنها نسعى ما استطعنا للمحافظة على حرمة
We want to preserve the human life and not to expose anybody to any infection. And our way to do it is to take the health issues, the social distancing, the hand sanitization, all of this, and we look at the policies and make sure that it fits all three categories. If we felt we always want an ease whenever we can. In this country, you can ways of raising your voice and your concern. You don't have to be a coup so you could get a simple thing. Here, they have ways of expressing your views and to let your voice heard. And this is from the best thing about this country. That's why when they were asking about the room, and he says the best people on fitna and the best to come out of calamity, and they are the least who will run away from fighting, and they are the best for a needy or a poor. And the next one is the most against the oppression of the kings. And we have so many institutions that does that and preserve your rights. Your rights are preserved in here. So, alhamdulillah, if we felt of hardship and in any decision, we still have our channels to channel our views and to have the change. Alhamdulillah, all of this is available. In summary, we are happy to have that decision, but we have to put the balance between the other thing, the medical part and the Sharia part. Inshallah, we'll continue soon, inshallah, with the new episodes, inshallah. Subhanakallah, alhamdulillah, astaghfirullah. عفوا شو كنت تحكي؟
نلتقي على خير دائما وتحية لإخواننا المشاهدين لنا والمتابعين دعواتنا وتقبل الله منا الله جل وعلا سيجمعنا اليوم في هذه الجمعة ويوم القيامة في ذلك إخوانا على سوء لا يمس الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك.